Okay, I'll admit right away that the title is a little bit clickbaity. I don't actually think the entire internet would be ruined, short of a worldwide EMP. I don't know if that's really possible anyway, but considering the vast majority of users gravitate towards very specific sites in a very small section of the web, these regulatory changes would have a drastic and horribly negative effect on the average day-to-day internet usage of most Americans, and possibly the rest of the world as well, depending on implementation. The subject today is the KIDS Act. The KIDS Act is a bill introduced by Senator Ed Markey, the same guy that made COPPA. Yes, that COPPA, the legislation that hit YouTube like a freight train and is still causing certain channels to struggle because YouTube just pawned all the responsibility off on us as creators rather than internalizing their own failure. That's a whole separate topic, and I've discussed it before, how YouTube knowingly collected child data to serve custom advertisements, and when confronted, they just forced every individual creator to designate their own content instead of filtering from a top-down position what is and is not served to which age group. The end result was that creators got opened up to being sued, a bunch of features got disabled on channels that both did and did not deserve to have that happen, and it's all still kind of a disaster. So basically, COPPA was a mess, still is a mess, and might have had good intentions, but the implementation was vastly flawed. Well, COPPA may have seemed like a tidal wave at the time, but apparently there was worse to come. Now we have the KIDS Act, and this one, if I'm reading things correctly, which I think I am, is orders of magnitude worse than COPPA ever was due to its sweepingly broad stances and targeted policies against entire platform features. KIDS stands for Kids Internet Design and Safety Act, and I'll read from Senator Markey's own descriptive tweet chain, but I'll also link the entire bill down below for those interested. On March 5th, the senator took to social media and stated the following: "We need strong rules to keep kids safe online. Today, I'm introducing the KIDS Act to make sure children aren't being manipulated by dangerous features, inappropriately advertised to, or exposed to harmful content. If you feel bombarded by online advertisements and disturbing internet content, think how vulnerable children are. We need to ban product placement and unboxing videos for kids. Children don't have the cognitive skills to determine that these videos are ads. Parents should know what videos appear on the websites their kids view. The KIDS Act will create transparency by establishing an annual audit of the top children's websites and creating a labeling system so parents know what online material is suitable for kids. Websites and apps are using features like autoplay to manipulate kids into staying on their platforms as long as possible. The KIDS Act will ban these damaging features on platforms for kids so they don't develop unhealthy habits. By the age of 12, more than 2/3 of kids have their own smartphone, and more than twice as many young people watch videos every day than did in 2015. It's time to get serious about protecting children online. Thank you, Senator Blumenthal, for your partnership on the KIDS Act." Beneath this explanation, there are also infographics which state the following: guidelines against damaging design features, bans design features like autoplay that harm children and foster unhealthy habits, guards against harmful content, bans algorithms that amplify and promote sexual and violent content to kids, and establishes transparency rules so parents know what content websites are serving to kids, and limits on commercialization and marketing, bans manipulative advertising on kids' platforms, and creates a labeling system to help parents distinguish educational content from commercial content. Here's the issue. These regulations are not possible to implement without widespread destruction of multi-billion user platforms. I would probably need a full hour of explanation to really outline everything here, so I'll do my best to condense it down and summarize instead. First off, how do they determine what is and is not a kids platform? As a great example, his past work, COPPA, was designed to target kids content but got leveraged against all of YouTube and YouTube creators, despite YouTube technically disallowing users to sign up even unless they self-verified as above the age of 13. Now, it is obvious that kids will lie about their age, but by having a platform with a technical and mandatory click-through agreement verification of 13 plus still designated as a kids platform signifies without question that their intent, or at least ability, is to classify YouTube as a kids platform. That's just one angle. What about Netflix? Netflix has an entire dedicated kids section, and it's undeniable that a huge number of children watch programs on that website. Is that now a kids platform in its entirety? Would these regulations be restricted to the kids section of Netflix? And for those that argue yes, why then were the COPPA regulations on YouTube not restricted to the YouTube Kids directory? Because YouTube does in fact have a dedicated section just for children. How about Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, any video streaming service at all? Any video hosting platform at all, social media in its entirety, pretty much any and every major internet hub could be regulated by this new legislation, especially considering the established use case of ignoring what a site has already done in terms of self-regulation and classifying whatever they want as for kids, even when it is in direct conflict with the account creation policies. That's just the beginning. The language in his description is very deliberate. It does not say regulate design features on content aimed at kids. It says ban design features like autoplay that harm children, or ban algorithms that amplify and promote sexual content or violence. Except amplifying and promoting a user's demonstrated interest is the entire premise of content serving algorithms. I may have my gripes with YouTube and its rogue AI. In fact, in a recent meeting with my YouTube representative to discuss analytics, I discovered that there are so many individual teams working on the algorithm that none of them actually know full scale what it does or even how it works. I think it's a horribly flawed system, but to get even close to the scale required to manage a platform with billions of users, like YouTube, you need algorithmic moderation, period. It's just flat out necessary. I believe changes should be made, but the entire concept is to serve more of what someone watches to them. Not only to increase watch time, but because that is what they have demonstrated flat out to be their desired material. You don't serve Peppa Pig to someone who just watched a Rage Against the Machine music video. Why? Because they don't want it. They don't want to see it. You have similar artists and genres to serve to them, with similar subject matter, because so far, that is the indicated interest field. Banning algorithms that promote or amplify violent and sexual content is not just somehow curbing the spread of that specific violent and sexual material. The wording is quite clear. It is a desire to ban the entire algorithm, which would bring all major platforms utilizing customized recommendations to a screeching halt. That is a much broader implication than I can even summarize. Bringing it back to YouTube specifically, there are specifications against branded content as well, or sponsored content, with the implication and even outright claim that they are inherently manipulative. With this new policy, since branded content will inevitably be served to children, even if it is clearly aimed at an older demographic, what will then be the effect? Since there is a hardline stance against children being served branded content, period, because it is inherently malicious, apparently, will they just nuke the branded content format flat out? There is no possible way to fully regulate age groups and prevent children from watching it, so what's the plan? Whatever happened to parental accountability? What happened to self-regulation or time limits? When I was a kid, I got 2 hours of computer time on weekends. I would have played all day if I could, even before algorithms and YouTube sponsorships and modern advertising. I would have played Stronghold Crusader 22 hours a day if possible, but my parents didn't let me do that. There was a household imposed limit, and it worked better than any governmental intervention ever could. It goes further. He very pointedly mentions unboxing videos and advocates banning them outright in content aimed at children. Now, to be fair, product placement in a malicious and undisclosed way should be banned. In fact, undisclosed advertising is already illegal under existing FTC regulations, something most major YouTubers seem to forget or outright ignore. Giant beauty channels, for example, are blatantly promoting makeup brands without any sort of proper disclosure. So yes, go after them, sue them, who cares? I don't, do what you want, but because they are violating existing and fairly reasonable law. However, to blanket ban unboxing videos, especially since we have established that aimed at kids and not aimed at kids are categories separated by a mere governmental whim, that is not a functional approach to protecting children. That is an oppressive, unnecessary, ineffectual tactic created by a senator so out of touch with modern internet culture, it's honestly shocking. Furthermore, this new regulation seems to be aimed at users under the age of 16 instead of 13, and the 3-year age bracket from 13 to 16 is no small difference at all. An increase of almost 25% in the covered age range will impact even more platforms, creators, and channels. It will spread what is already an impossible goal of online regulation to an even greater selection of platforms, and it will expand on the ability of this poorly written, badly made legislation to invade and destroy the functionality of platforms that previously could be defended as not for kids. It's already absurd, but there's more. There is specific language in the bill to make it clear that there will be a prohibition of certain features, and those features will include a wide spread of standard engagement rewards if they encourage interaction with the platform. That means likes, upvotes, membership badges, emotes, and a host of other notification or incentive applications on YouTube, which will quite literally destroy the platform if executed. All of this assumes that platforms like YouTube or Netflix or Amazon Video even can tell which users are definitively under the age of 16. If they can be certain, they can simply stop serving recommendations to those particular individuals and accounts. If they can't be certain, which is also very likely, that means they just have to flat out kill those content types altogether. And what about traditional radio or cable? Autoplay is very clearly designed to refer to an automated process of queuing up the next video, such as YouTube or Netflix. But what about Cartoon Network? It's aimed at kids. It automatically plays in a constant 24-hour loop all day, every day, but I doubt this new regulatory push would even consider that format. Why might that be? Since the goal is to protect kids from establishing bad screen viewing habits, why is it necessary to target YouTube for doing something that cable channels have done for years, especially when that practice is almost identical? Cable channels are based on ratings. They play programs to keep people watching. They don't go from SpongeBob SquarePants to Metallica. They create a viewing program and schedule to rope people in and gather watch time. Fundamentally, there is no real difference, but these new regulations probably won't care. In summary, the new Kids Act is horrendous. It is a massive and unbelievably reckless advance in governmental household intervention, designed to target and destroy sections of the self-professed influencer marketing scene while tearing down protocols and mechanics that are now integral to the wider functionality of platforms and websites that billions of people enjoy. My point, for the few people operating in a relevant district where your opinion would have a tangible impact, vote that jackass out of office, please. That's it for today though. Once again, this video was made possible by hardware from Axial GT. Please subscribe to his channel. There's a link in the description. I'll be collaborating with him on some things in the future. There's also a Patreon for Upper Echelon down below. YouTube has been offering a new feature called membership streams that would bar live broadcasts behind a monthly membership subscription, and I've vowed never to do that, which is made possible because so many of you support elsewhere. There's also a Twitter page, merchandise, other social media, etc., but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.